Day 3 of the summer shred, and today I'm going to be talking exercise. On day 1 I spoke about how to work out your calories and macros. Day 2 was very much around what I believe is one of the most important aspects of starting any diet, and it was sleep and prioritizing routine and rituals throughout each day. And today there is exercise. Now, first and foremost, throughout this whole summer shred I'm going to be documenting my journey. Of course, it's extremely early days at the moment. To give you an idea, I'm aiming for 2,450 calories, 200 grams of protein. I'll be doing a video tomorrow about protein. 75 grams of fat and 240 grams of carbs. And hopefully from my first video, you'll be able to work out how that all fits together. And if so, I really recommend watching that. It really will help you. But day 3, going into exercise here. So I've planned my routine and structure around my sleep quality. I've got my calories in place, but we need to exercise, okay? Now, a question that comes up quite a lot is, do you have to exercise to lose weight? And the truth be told is, no, you don't actually have to exercise to lose weight. If you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight, and exercise can complement that. Obviously, you're burning calories essentially, but that isn't essential. However, there's a saying I quite like, and it's like, you know, do you have to exercise to lose weight? No, you don't. Do you have to wash to live everyday life? No, you don't, but it's probably quite a good idea. So I repeat the question, do you have to exercise to lose weight? No, but it's probably a good idea. If you don't wash, people look at you quite funnily. Very rarely do you meet someone in life who is quote unquote in good shape and they go, yeah, it's just a diet, I've never exercised in my life, don't bother, pointless. You know, but beyond that, there is another level to look at here. Exercise provides other metrics of success to go by, which is super, super important when it comes to weight loss. Why is that? And there will be ups and downs of weight loss, which, you know, that's why it's so important to create other metrics of success. And with exercise, it's a wonderful story. It's very, very predictable, okay? Nobody is worse the 10th time they've done something compared to the first time they've done something. Your body does this wonderful thing that nobody talks about. It adapts. It gets stronger if you consistently lift weights. It gets fitter if you consistently do cardio. It's the one thing that you can trust about the human body, is that if you do something, if you create a stress or a stimulus, it will adapt and get stronger and better the next time you do it. And in a world where people question their body, beat themselves up about their body, compare themselves, what a wonderful story that is. You can back your body to adapt over the course of time if you exercise correctly. Now, what does exercising correctly look like? It is not, and I repeat, it is not just give it all you've got and hope for the best. This go hard or go home mentality was a thing of like the 80s and the 90s, and it's left a big old problem. Because not only is burnout a real thing, the classic example of burnout is January the 1st. You have all these people so up for exercise and they go on a very low calorie diet and they're no longer doing it in February. Burnout is not, can't be arsed today, it's usually more towards get unwell, a bad night's sleep, feel extremely stressed out. And because of that, you just stop exercising. Injuries. One of my best friends is a physiotherapist, and he says the number one way people get injured in this world is doing too much too soon for weight loss. Think about it. If you've got people who are heavier, doing some of these high impact moves that you see, feeling like heart rate has to go super high, they either burn out or they injure themselves, and naturally the whole cycle that I spoke about in the previous video starts again. We want to avoid that, okay? So on a real simple matter, we want to take what somebody's doing already and look to gradually progress that over time. And if someone's doing 0 sessions a week, it's quite a nice place to be. You know, you've only got to do 2 to 3 sessions per week and you will create a stimulus that wasn't there before. Now, whether you go down the gym or the home workout road, that is up to you. It depends on the setup you've got at home. There is no doubt about it, a gym is more optimal. You've got more equipment, you've got an environment to go to, which is really important. There's a reason why working from home, people tend to set an office space up. It's because, you know, it takes them away from being at home, so to speak. And while, you know, home workouts can work very well, particularly in those early stages, the art of exercise is that we progress over time, and it is much easier to progress over time with more equipment and an environment to do it in. Once we've got in our schedule what 2 to 3 times a week looks like and where it will be, that's crazy important. Write it down, have a plan, tick it off as you do it. Once we've prioritised that time, we've decided whether it's gym or home workouts, the type of exercise is going to be quite important. Now again, there's not a right or a wrong exercise for fat loss. It is a calorie deficit. But what I would say is that it is slightly more optimal to do strength training for what people's goal usually is. What do I mean by that? Well, people tend to say to me, I want to look toned and I want to lose weight and tone up at the same time. Well, toned by definition is losing body fat while retaining / building muscle mass. You can actually build muscle mass in a calorie deficit for a short period of time. because again, if you're doing something that you weren't doing before, you will progress and build muscle. But it's true, over the course of time, you would want to, change that around a little bit. But certainly protecting muscle mass is possible while in the correct deficit, and that's where you get that kind of toned kind of look. Okay, so maybe we're in a 500 calorie deficit to allow 1 pound of fat loss per week, and we're lifting weights and we're eating optimal protein. This is a really good setup for a good program. And in your program, you might want to do, if you're doing 2 times a week, you might do one upper body day, 1 lower body day, of which in my opinion 5 to 6 exercises, 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps is a pretty good range to be aiming for. If you're doing 3 times a week, there's different splits available. You want to hit each body muscle part maybe twice that way, or add more volume to certain muscle parts. So what I mean by that is upper, lower, full body would mean that you hit each muscle group twice a week, or indeed you might want to add more volume to certain muscle groups. So you might do a push, pull, leg session. So push being chest, try and shoulders, pull being back and bi, and legs being obviously your legs. And that's the setup I'd aim for to start with. No more, no less. And the way to look at that is, I mentioned earlier on, the goal is to do slightly more over time. I think people sometimes fall into that all or nothing trap of doing 0 times a week, doing 6 times a week. Oh, I mean, I'm 4 this week, I failed in my targets, suddenly I'm doing nothing. Or indeed burning out, like I mentioned earlier on. If something, this is where I'm going to really fail here because I've got to do maths. But let's just say for ease of maths, somebody's doing 5 exercises, 3 sets of 10 reps. Well, that's 150 reps that person's doing. They do that 3 times a week. That's 450 reps per week. If you times that by the month, that's pretty much just under 2,000 reps per month. If you go from doing 0 to 2,000 of anything in any given month, you will get better, adapt, and become more confident doing it. And in my opinion, with exercise, bear in mind it's not absolutely essential for weight loss. That will be the goal in the early stages if you're a bit of a novice. Just get comfortable being in that room. And if you're not comfortable doing that sort of stuff, I sort of changed the mindset a little bit. How exciting is that? You have got so much equipment to learn, to find out how to make yourself stronger, fitter. If you want to work a certain area, this is super exciting stuff. I appreciate there could be an element of it's daunting, but the analogy I always use with that is it's no different to your first day at work, okay? It's daunting going into a first day at work anywhere because we don't know what we're doing, we don't know anybody there, you've got to ask questions, but we do that over the course of time because we all need money, okay? On health, people take a chance on health because I feel all right today, so I won't worry about it. But there's a great saying, do hard things now. So put yourself in that environment that you're not comfortable with, learn new things, do hard things now, and life will get easier over the course of time. You become comfortable doing it. Your mobility gets better, your cardiovascular health gets better, your mental health gets better, all these things that we know are scientifically proven with exercise. If you do easy things now, don't bother, sit home and do nothing, life will get harder. Invariably, there's a grand old saying with the human body, if you don't use it, you lose it. Your mobility gets worse. You don't have that daily purpose towards your endorphin rush. You're not prioritising yourself when it comes to your physical health. And I'm not saying it's everything, but it's definitely something when it comes to how we live our lives going forward. So that's kind of how I would start the program. By all means, if you want to bring cardio in because you enjoy swimming, cycling, running, whatever it may be, remember, keep an eye on the high impact side of things because running is actually a very high impact sport. You don't have to do anything that hurts or you don't want to do. Okay, this is the other thing. I'm running, but I don't really like it. It's probably not that sustainable. If you want to do a bit of mobility work and mindset work around yoga or Pilates or core work or something like that, that's fine. A sport. I've been playing paddle a lot recently, tennis, all these fantastic things. Movement is great. I'm going to do a video about steps and activity levels, why that's so important another day. But if we can have our pillars of exercise in place 2 to 3 times a week, where I would like people to put themselves into an environment that's slightly uncomfortable, because you will thank yourself, and strength training seamlessly over the course of time not only aids the goal of toning up, but it also metabolically will help us. And again, that's another day for another video, okay? But that's how I would set up my exercise program going forward. Of course, the other thing you can do is reach out to a personal trainer and get them to design a program for you. So you get an app, you just tick it off and you get going with it. And that can be a good way of accountability to break that boundary through. But that is how I would be setting up a program. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope we've got our calories in place now. We've prioritized energy levels and what that looks like day to day of our routine and our rituals. Now we've started to get an exercise program in place. Let's see what tomorrow brings. All the best from me. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.